pace with the conversation. We're trying to see, of course, what is happening right now with political hoping from different camps. Recently, the vice chair of UDA, Kipruto Arap Kira, who decamped to Azimio la Umoja after a reflective thought for 13 days. He says he's seen that democracy is being pinned on that cross. That is the leadership of Dr. William Ruto. So looking at inter-party democracy, that is not really auguring well with him. That's why he has shifted camp. And many also will be shifting camp to and fro. And of course, Azimio to Kwanza Kenya, or Kenya Kwanza, should we say, and Kenya Kwanza to Azimio. So we just want to pick the brains of Senior Counsel, Senator Kongo Mogini, on this as well, on the development. It seems, as you've listened to Wilson Sossion, he's not really paying much mind to it. He says this is just a small issue, that we should concentrate on bigger issues as well. When we are reminding, this is the vice chair of the party. And for you to just put you don't put any person as a vice chair of your party. I mean, he has some gravitas, he has some political also underpinnings, given his experientially, been in government. He knows also the wherewithal, not really the wherewithal, but the nooks and crannies of really running the government.
No. As as we are happy, we like it that way. When you see people dismissing, potential voters and potential supporters, it means power is getting into your head, and when you start ignoring these 1, 2, 3 votes that are bolting from your camp, that's how you lose your support base. I can't understand how somebody can just dismiss somebody like Omingo Magara from South Mogrango, a very serious senatorial candidate.
Yes. And
you say as a party that that's really a small issue. You don't even want to address the issues he's raising. Kiro is holding a very top position in UDA. He's a vice chair. He's bolting, and look at the issues he's raising. He says that he's leaving UDA because UDA is being very undemocratic. So for me, Dibal, even at my level, I never dismiss anybody. There's nobody on the ground I can say that that's a very inconsequential voter. When people are raising issues, that should worry UDA. It means that within UDA fraternity, the entity is very undemocratic, and I think there is a defining moment on these two camps. The Azimio la Umoja camp, as second liberation heroes, Democrats, people who have really fought for the second liberation of this country. I think on the other hand, from UDA, we are seeing a stifling of democracy. That's why progressive people are finding that house very unaccommodative. So UDA is burning, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people disappearing. Even on the Ash talk, some things that cannot be said on media by certain candidates who are our friends. They are saying even during the primaries, they were unfairly kicked out. They are saying the nomination process was not fair, it was not democratic. So what you are seeing, what Kiro is raising, is not just a statement he's making as a by the way. He's raising a serious concern on what is happening within the UDA fraternity. Talk to the likes of Magara, they will tell you that UDA is very, very undemocratic, Dibal. On the other hand, you can see Wetangula has been told you're going to be given the position of Senate Speaker. But because he doesn't believe in the promise that has been given by his party leader, William Ruto, he's saying, I can't trust this man. Let me try and go back to my people and have a safety bet by seeking to be senator for Bungoma. Dibal, if you promise me a position of speaker, National Assembly, all of us will tell you that's a very prestigious position. Why will I bother to go back to Bungoma to seek to be a senator if I believe that my party leader, what tells me is a blank check, that is a secure position, but because of the mistrust that is within the UDA fraternity, he feels that no, let me go back to Bungoma and have a safety net by seeking to be senator for Bungoma. Look at my friend Kidore Kindiki, a promising young professional, a professor of law of repute, a man who was going to clinch that position of governor for the Tharaka-Nithi constituency, misled, and he trusted his party leader that was going to be the running mate. And he enjoyed the support of the majority of the elected leaders who had been given the task of picking the running mate for Honorable William Ruto. But in the last minute, Dibal, he was told, you don't have deep pockets. We are looking for somebody with deep pockets. And now I've seen his picture here. He's I think in the Standard. You know, some of the political, big political names that were given promises by their party leaders, but they have now fallen by the wayside. So what I'm seeing from UDA is that within the UDA family, the BAL, there are a lot of intrigues where you cannot really trust leadership, and that's why you are seeing people bolting away from the party. In terms of the support base of William Amino of Kipruto Arab Kiru, he's somebody I used to admire even before I joined politics. Very bold leader, used to be fairly outspoken, a very able agricultural minister. When he was the minister for agriculture, agriculture industries were really thriving. That sector was thriving. So when he tells issues a statement and saying, I'm bolting from the party, I expect UDA to say, we go back to the boardroom, do some self-evaluation and know what is ailing the party. I like the excitement that Honorable Karua has brought to UDA. You see, she's the reason. Yeah? Kipruto Kiro is telling you, I spoke to Mother Karua, and because I know Karua is a very principled person, I spoke to her and told her, I'm joining your team. So the peak, if you look at the two camps, I think Raila got it right in terms of picking running mate, Ruto by picking Gachagua. If I had been given a choice, the ball, I would have gone for Kidiki. I mean, this is a man who is not tainted. This is a youth, a respected professional, a scholar, who
party. You're not part of UDA, you don't know intrigues are, what the discussions are, what the consensus is a bad pick according to you, then you should be happy. Why should you worry about it? Let it be. It's our loss, not yours. So in fact, the fact that they are trying to talk down or you know, water down the candidacy of Rigathi Gachagua means they are worried about him. Because if he's such a bad pick, you should be celebrating and urging us on to go on with him, not try and criticize him. Why are you spending so much energy on it? And when we talk about our team, Githuru Kindiki was in Kirinyaga yesterday, being a very formidable campaign force there with the deputy president. So nobody is in UDA in order to get a position. People are in UDA because we believe in the dream of economic transformation of Kenya for Kenya. Hence it is Kenya Kwanza. So Senator Wetangula, Mudavadi, Alfred Mutua, Kingi, who have joined the team, have all said it's because they believe in the economic transformation, not what position they have been promised. And also are in it because they know that they want to bring diversity to the team so that they have a stake and have a voice in the new coming government. Senator Wetangula is doing what a proper politician does. A proper politician does is you run so that you acquire legitimacy and good moral standing among the people who will elect you as a senator. So it's not just that the deputy president, when he's president, says, I want people to vote Wetangula. He will have to build consensus, and Wetangula need to have earned his space. So if the way of earning his space is to run for senator, it allows him to be able to garner the votes. It's not something that is, the UDA is a democracy, and the deputy president is actually known as someone who consults. You have seen on many occasions, and this can, Kipruto Arap Kirwa can be proved wrong. When we wanted to discuss our position on UDA, we spent an entire day deliberating. And at the end of the deliberations, we came up with one resolution document, which was read out to the public in front of the 150 plus members of parliament and governors who were affiliated to UDA. When we have wanted to take a position on the way to run our party primaries, we did have William Ruto held meetings, discussions, and we come up with one statement drafted in our presence as we all sit together. William Ruto is democratic because he is the only presidential candidate who met all aspirants from across the 47 counties in person. We held them in clusters, and he met all the, when he met the ones from Nandi County, Elgeyo Marakwet and Uasin Gishu, we were over 5,000 candidates. He hosted them, he listened to them, he convinced them, and he explained to them and said, even if you take a picture with me, that's not going to get you elected. You have to be able to have a meeting. In fact, I remember him saying, have a meeting with yourself, then have a meeting with the people who elect you, then go out and campaign. Then you will be my candidate. But I'm not going to favor anyone. If that is not democracy, I don't know what is. I haven't seen those kind of functions and meetings being held on the other political party. But I don't complain because it works for us. Like I said, I'm not going to be crying more than the bereaved. So in this case, we know what we are doing. We know for a fact that UDA is democratic. If you wanted to be in a party where there is a clique of a few powerful people, then UDA is not the place to be. Because in UDA, we have amazing, brilliant politicians. Everyone is powerful. William Ruto is just a first among equals, but all of us are equal politicians and bring something to the table. Yes, we are very cognizant that the UDA fraternity, the Kenya Kwanza fraternity, is a movement. It's the hustler movement. And so those are the people who will put us in office so that we can help deliver their dream of economic transformation to Kenya. So it's not the other way around. We are just going to be the vehicles that are going to be put there to deliver what Kenyans want. So it's very different from the way our opponents think. So I've not known any decision or position that has been taken in UDA that we haven't sat and actually had those consultations. When people complain that we've been having meetings and meetings, those meetings have actually been done to that. I know that Azimio is talking about giving people 6,000 shillings, is talking about Baba Care and so on. But have they gone out to the people to have a conversation about it? No. He's the one who's deciding he's giving out 6,000 shillings. Never mind, he has not explained to us where he's getting the 6,000 bob. And he has not asked people. People haven't said they want 6,000 shillings. They want to be able to work.
Thank you.
But in UDA, just to show we are democratic, we have held economic forums. I think now we are about in 40 counties.
Thank you.
We have 7 counties left.
Thank you. 40 counties left, but when you look at the...
7 counties left. We've done it in 40 counties, and there will be legal documents signed with those counties with our presidential candidate and economic charter. That is democracy.
But Gladys, your pronouncement of the 50 billion shillings that you'll set aside, was it 100 billion shillings that you'll set aside for, the common wananchi at the end of the day, came before this county economic forum. So you saying that you began that while you having or holding the county economic forums is not essentially correct? Because you began the campaign to say we'll set 100 billion shillings for the common wananchi. Then the county forums came afterwards. But the more pivotal question I wanted to ask, and maybe I'll pose this question.
No, I have to. That's a very tough question you've asked, and it's very important that I respond to it. Yes, we all know that Kenyans were demanding for economic transformation. We know that the economy is suffering and people are suffering. We see it and we understand it. And so we said to people, this is what we want to correct. The how is what we are going to have the economic forums to have. How are you going to deliver it? People said, this is what we want to do in our sugar industry. Because if you want to take economic transformation or apply the bottom-up economic model, it's not a one-size-fits-all. The model is implemented differently county by county. But at the end of the day, it's about economy, hence the economic forums. So you've got to, we are responding to them, but working with them on the how.
But we don't have, the presidential manifestos presented. After we're done with the exercise of being cleared by IBC, and of course we've just been running you by some of the dates of the candidates there, is when now they come up with the manifestos. And then we will be able to tell, okay, for the 6,000 shillings that Right Honorable Raila we're not, in fact, the campaign trail now began yesterday. So this is when we will know what people are putting on the table, what mechanism, what structures, what models are we going to see. Now we can make comparative, analysis of all these different manifestos at the end of the day. But I want to come to you, Wilson Sossion, because Gladys says the choice of Gachagua should not be underestimated here by, of course, Okongo Mogini. We have Gachagua also has been flagged by the National Integrity Alliance, as people who have been red-carded, amongst others, also impeached Governor Sonko as well because of integrity issues. Don't you think also this is a load that is an albatross that now Gachagua is actually bringing on this particular presidential...
I think we should be cautious, even as media, not to engage in mob justice of citizens. Let us talk here.
No, I'm just reporting what has been on the ground, because this is a civil society,
yes,
and they've flagged them.
And I'm then giving my view. It doesn't mean...
And they've done their own baseline study.
It doesn't mean what has been canvassed across, whether it's a matter that is in court or whether it's reported in the media. But so far,
but don't you think
there
also
has been no conviction?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
There's been no conviction. There's been no conviction. That's the truth. It matters because, justice is very expensive. And you're presumed innocent until proved guilty by a competent court of law. So I don't think it's right at this stage to get into some bit of justice.
Okay, can I just answer? Can I answer? Just a moment.
Begin trying to demonize every candidate, whether MCA, presidential.
I have a right to
because
reply.
If we had to do that,
or ask you a question as
even on Mother Karua, we've seen BAT, some corruption scandals. So I don't think it will be decent. Let us sanitize our politics for now.
So it's just a moment. You raise serious concerns, even with the BAT. Are you privy to any information about BAT?
I'm saying we've read, but
you've read.
In the interest of justice and human rights, and I'm a believer of that, from the background of a trade union. I don't think it is right to demonize and engage in justice of individuals because somebody has woken up, he has been picked as a running mate, and regarding Gachagua is not a small Kenyan. This is a competent citizen who has served in government extensively in rural Kenya and a graduate of political science from the University of Nairobi and a maverick organizer and has been picked by UDA. So I think the rest of who is who should be left to Kenyans. And we should not engage in dirty politics. Let us engage in clean politics. But Debal,
just allow me to ask you a question, because before you gravitate to or orient your thoughts to what you want to say, you're talking issue of conviction. Has Mike Sonko been convicted and impeached with the courts? It's just a bipolar answer, yes or no. Has also
I think
I'm just asking. No, because you've asked about.
Don't force straight jacket answers. that probably are intended for other purposes.
These are facts. Just a moment.
No.
These are facts, and I will throw this to Glad. These are facts. I want to ask you, have you been impeached or not?
You've taken me from Rigathi Gachagua, now you are taking me to Songo.
No.
I
mentioned
justice
just a moment.
In court. Until when a court law makes such a pronouncement?
That's what I'm asking.
And some of the matters that are in court,
just a moment,
we are not competent to prosecute here.
Give me some time to also ask you a question, because now I'm asking you, just very pointedly, when I mentioned Rigathi, it was amongst also some of the governors that have been impeached, Waititu, Sonko as well.
Speaker.
Sorry?
An impeached speaker has been denied clearance to run for a Senate seat in Kiambu.
An impeached speaker as well. I'll just flag the list. But what I'm asking you, wasn't a conviction realized amongst these two governors?
Yes, indeed.
Then
conviction was made by the Senate. And the same individuals
but the
are
Senate
proceeding to seek justice.
Did the court make?
Did the court?
Just a moment. Did the court make their own pronouncements?
Then,
just
where
a moment.
we are at this point.
No, I want you. Did the court also make their own pronouncements of the Senate?
No, these are pleadings that are before the court, and certain directions have been given. I don't think I'll be competent to discuss procedures and matters that are before the courts of law. What we are discussing here is the court of public opinion through the ballot.
But there's
this is where all these individuals, they must be granted their rights.
Come on, give me a break, Sosion. No, listen.
No,
it is not sub judice. We are not discussing. No, we are not discussing the merits and demerits of the case.
I'm sure as an Annika, you are not playing on behalf of Director of Public Prosecution, but I think this citizens should be granted their right. And therefore, when we turn and we become an outfit that is convicting citizens, it is not right. They're exercising their right. Rigathi Gachagua has been picked as a running mate of William Ruto in Kenya Kwanza. Martha Karua has been picked as running mate of Raila Odinga in Azimio. The rest of who fits the bill should now be left to Kenyans. And I think we should now move to the next level of discussing issues, and particularly what Sholei was raising in terms of issues, which of course, I also wanted to commend. You said, yes, it is not yet time for us to talk about manifestos, political parties, because the presidential candidates have not submitted their papers. I think they've set the agenda, and the discussion has been ongoing. And I can tell you, Debal, 3/4 of the manifestos has already been laid out in terms of framework, in terms of discussions. And I would like to say political party manifestos are very critical documents that become part of the binding agreement between the voters and whoever is elected the president. Whatever a presidential candidate is pronouncing, been pronounced by William Ruto every now and again. The moment William Ruto is sworn in as the president, then 100 billions become part of government policy to commit to the bottom-up economic agenda model. In fact, the bottom-up economic agenda model, once William is elected, becomes part of the law and government policy in this country. And therefore, the various statutes and legislation shall be required. That's a fact, Debal.
Thank you.
And remember, when Kibaki committed free education, and I was there as a union leader, and he made it at DP Nyeri Primary School. And eventually, when he was elected, it became law. And today is a big investment within government. And the 50 billion to the micro, small, medium enterprises is a commitment. And this is money that will come from the taxpayers.
Thank you.
And I think we should now move to discuss those ones. And there's a media house. I think from now on, you should be able to move this country and the citizens to discuss issues. What are the issues within the manifesto of Asimio? What are the issues
we discuss issues
within the manifesto of UDA? Rather than regressing to discuss private lives and allegations of individuals. I don't think we'll be doing justice to this country.
Okay. Just a moment, because also Sosion raises serious issues regarding also BAT, the scandal that was I think, was in 2000 and what year was it? I can't remember the actual year, if it was 2008.
It's good. It's good.
I like allegation. No evidence.
No proof.
Okay.
I want to help.
These things will come to the fore.
I want to help Sosion because Sosion, I'm a good lawyer and I'm your friend. Don't make allegations that can result into suits that you may not be able to even defend anywhere.
But he just made allegations about Rigathi.
The Kenyans need to know. Kenyans need to know the bar. And me, I don't want to just speak like I'm here for a child's play. These are serious national issue we are discussing. We are discussing the issue of corruption and the approach the major political parties in this presidency how they are addressing this idea of corruption and how they maybe intend to fight corruption. The issue Kenyans are raising is that Rigathi Gachagua has an active, ongoing corruption case pending before our courts. And the allegations are serious. That he was involved, and I'm saying the allegations. I'm not saying he has been proved, but the allegations in court to the bar are that when his brother was governor for Nyeri, they formed companies that were used to swindle money from the county government of Nyeri, which ended up in the pockets of Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. That is the allegations. That is the case pending before court.
Good. That is
he has not been tried and convicted. But those are the serious allegations. And what the DCI is saying is that he did paper trail and he assured how this money moved from the county government of Nyeri, that instead of that money being used to provide critical services to the people of Nyeri, where Rigathi Gachagua comes from, that money that matter is pending before a court of law. Now, Dibal, if you are serious in fighting corruption, you saw how Kibaki handled this issue of corruption. Cabinet secretaries during Kibaki's time that were mentioned in scandals, even before being taken to court, they were asked to step aside so that the courts, without the influence of the ministers, could try these cases. Now, the message that UDA is sending to Kenyans is that if you will be a cabinet minister under the government of William Ruto and you're charged in a court of law for corruption offense, in the ranking of judicial officers before a magistrate for his case to proceed. Now, the question I want to pose to Kenyans is, what do you expect the trickle-down effect at the county level? Our ministers, the people we call executive, we call them executive officers, CECs, at the county level. What that means, Dibal, is that if you are charged with a corruption case at the county level and you are serving as a minister in the county government, then the governor should also allow you to continue serving despite those serious corruption allegations that will be facing you in a court of law as you continue serving. We are going to make corruption to be very fashionable in this country. That is the message we are sending. And this is not about us discussing UDA. We are not mourning more than the bereaved. We are raising a serious national issue. What are we telling Kenyans about the attempts we are going to see from these two coalitions in fighting corruption? The message from me, Debar, is that right from now, just by picking the running mate, we are sending a message to Kenya that we are not going to fight corruption. That's why you will never see UDA addressing this issue seriously in the forums that they hold. All they want to tell, please, Allow me, Gladys. You are too.
I've not said anything.
Yeah, allow me to
I haven't
respond.
said a word.
This is a debate.
I haven't said a word.
We are not.
Gladys just scratching.
I will say painful things, but listen to them.
No, I
These
haven't
are
said
facts.
anything.
All right,
Yeah,
you carry on, carry on.
So the thing is that we are sending a wrong message to Kenya that we are going to have a government that will give lip service to the war on corruption. In fact, what I expect to see in the next government, whoever wins, is that if this country has to be transformed, we must fight this cancer called corruption. And you begin at the top. But if you tell Kenyans that, look, here is a member of parliament who is facing allegations of swindling money from county government. That's money meant for the locals in Nyeri. And we want to promote it with a case. I wish this was an investigation. I would have forgiven my friend William Ruto if this was an investigation that is ongoing. But this is a man, Dibal, who has gone to court, taken plea. The courts have accepted the charges. The DPP has accepted the file from DCI as a constitutional process that has gone on. And the case is active in our courts. We're going to send the wrong message, Kenya. And I'm telling you, Dibal, if this comes to pass, you will see the level of corruption that we are going to see.
Thank you.
Now, this is your economic forum. Don't be cheated that UDA is holding economic forums to ask people what they want. It is trying to push down the throats of Kenyan this thing you call bottom up. I've talked to my people in Nyamira. Nobody was being given an opportunity to ask the UDA people what you will do. They were explaining. They were coming and saying, this is our manifesto. We have a bottom-up approach. This is what we are going to do for you. So we are asking you to vote for us. So it's not, the questions you're asking, Shule here, the answers I can give you, these forums are campaign forums. They are not consultative
But
forums.
that is not entirely true.
No, it's true.
It is not. Just a moment. Let me butt in, because I've watched some of these forums online. One will be Kiambu as well, and I saw they were given opportunity. No one is shoving them down their throats.
Yeah. First of all,
just a moment.
Misleading.
But
first of all, they are told,
just a moment.
They are told we are here to explain to
Kenya Kwanza and the wananchi on the ground. We've seen people being given opportunity, and they hear, some of the professionals, even the Mama Mboga on the ground, and a case in point will be Mama Mbogwa in Kiambu County, where she spoke very glowingly.
If we are talking about facts, what we should ask UDA to tell us is the UDA manifesto.
Allow me to also just weigh.
Is the UDA manifesto?
Just a moment. You cannot just pick a case in point in Nyamira or Kisii region and then use that as a broad brushstroke on every county economic forum.
I don't know what happened. I cannot tell you facts on what happened on the ground. And finally, finally, when you talk about positions, that UDA is not about positions. Already, UDA has already picked a speaker for us in the Senate, Governor King. You are dishing positions. The National Assembly has already had a speaker picked for them, Senator Wetangula.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
30%.
Can we just
a minute? Let me finish. 30% of government. You are saying UDA is not about sharing positions. 30% of government on condition that Musalia Mudavadi will deliver 70% of the votes. He has already been told we have given you 30% of government already. That is given to Mudavadi. Now, when you tell us that it's not about positions, what is that? Isn't that sharing of positions?
All right, Gladys.
First of all, let me start with the part where Senator Mugeni has here on television reprimanded Honorable Sosion for making allegations that he cannot prove. Yeah? Which is correcting. You cannot make allegations that you cannot prove. And the moment he finished that sentence, he immediately went on to allege that Honorable Rigathi has a case because he swindled the county government of Nyeri when his brother was governor. That is not a true fact. And it is a very serious statement coming on national television by one who is a senior counsel. I was there when the charges were read out to Honorable Rigathi at DCI. I looked at those charges. There was no charge that he swindled money from the county government of Nyeri. There was nothing that showed, as you say, money has been traced back. Those are your own fictitious stories that you're making here on TV.
So there was nothing on the charge sheet.
And I want us, the next time we appear on TV, I want us to show that charge sheet. That charge sheet. Yes.
Okay.
So that charge sheet has nothing to do with what that charge sheet has. Nothing. That charge sheet has. I'm not here to come and discuss that case, but I'm just saying that charge not that fact. But because you said it so eloquently here, why don't you read for us the example? And I the court's an apology. Can I be allowed to finish because you went on and on this point? Number two, he knows very well as senior counsel that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. The whole reason why we have that is you don't want a situation where, one, if I want to stop your political ambitions, all I have to do is make allegations against you, and then you're not able to run. What the civil society is doing is running their own sensitization campaign on making allegations like he is against certain candidates in the hope that the public may matter pending in court against the judiciary, which I have since won in the highest court of the land. The Supreme Court has since declared that there was no wrongdoing on my part, that there was no money loss, and in fact that the JSC has to pay me damages for having messed up my career. So can you imagine if I had been prevented from running? First of all, they wrongfully dismissed me. They tried to ruin my name. Then imagine if they had stopped me from running in 2017. Now, 9 years later, I get justice. That is why we talk about innocent until proven guilty. There are many young people who are with me in the judiciary, who with great careers, some are Harvard trained, and they lost their careers because of allegations by a small clique led by Willie Mutunga. Their careers have been ruined. And some of them, unfortunately, didn't have the resilience and the grace of God to go to court.
No, when you drop names like William Mutunga, I mean, you don't have any substantial
evidence. It's confirmed in the court records.
But
that's what I can say.
It is confirmed in the court.
It's confirmed in the court records.
I'm not privy to it.
You're not privy to it. I'm privy to it.
Yeah.
And anyone who has a problem can take me on it.
Okay.
And I can stand by the facts. So what we are saying is we cannot allow an allegation or the fact that a court matter is pending in court to stop you from being able to clear for running for political office. There is nothing wrong with a deputy president appearing in court to answer charges. That has happened in many countries. Trump has appeared when he had to answer cases of tax in his own country as sitting president. It happened to Clinton. He paid his own legal bills and had to appear before the courts, and he has appeared before as sitting president. So it is just to show that everyone is equal before the law. And if the judges are true to their oath of office, where they should dispense justice without fear or favor. That is why they take that oath, fear or favor, which means they can try a sitting president, they can try a sitting governor. Even when you look at the BBI cases, actually the head of state was on trial. That is what it was. Did it stop the Supreme Court, the High Court, and the Court of Appeal from dispensing justice and interpreting the law without fear or favor? No. So let us not make political statements here that are not in fact factual. We must sit for it, and I think Senator Omogeni must make an apology.
So can you also make as well? They will not really get this particular clearance.
Yes, and that's why I said we've got to speak factually on each case.
Please.
Remember that when a parliament sits and interrogates or Senate sits, actually the decision is they are sitting equivalent to a high court.
Yes.
Hence the reason why one can apply to the courts on the matter. So the issue is I'm not privy to all the facts, but if they had appealed against the decision of the Senate or the court, or the National Assembly in court, and it is still pending, then they can still run until that matter is concluded and they are convicted. So I don't know if the finding has been found.
You know, now this is where we're caught up, and it doesn't make any lick of sense then why we should be running through all this process and candidates being cleared by IEBC and the EACC. Because you have, you'll always say, oh, yeah, I have my rights. If I'm not really proven guilty by the court, I still have to be on this particular... Let me give you a very
good example.
Because now people are gaming the system,
yes,
right? Because they know they have the lordly right, according to the law, that until they're proven innocent, they will run at the end of the day.
But
so
why
then come before IBC to present your papers
I'll give you the...
you'll slap,
okay,
of course,
let me give you a very good example.
Yes.
In 2017, when I signed my self-declaration form with EACC before I vied, which I took to IEBC, on the question where they asked me, have you ever been dismissed from public service? Mm-hmm. My answer was, yes, I was dismissed from the judiciary on this date. I have a matter in court, case number this, that is pending. So I was cleared on the fact that I declared it and that I said the matter is pending in court. So as long as the matter is still pending in court and you have not exhausted all appeals, then you can still be cleared to run. So that process is in fact correct because you do a self-declaration. It's like when you go to applying for a visa and you're asked, have you ever been charged in court? Mm-hmm. You say yes. It doesn't prevent you from getting the visa, but it's a self-declaration.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Association.
I think this matter on corruption, we should take it with a different context. Is there a political party that is in the presidential contest that promotes corruption? And I think that's how we should look at it. And yes, and I'll begin with Brother Omogeni, Senator. Yeah, of course, when you intimidate me, that I should be very careful.
And he's doing the same thing.
And he's doing even worse than me. I think you're trying to speak from both sides of the mouth. Debar, here we are talking about clearance of candidates. You know, to contest, you must be cleared by EACC, you must be cleared by... You should declare, yes, by KRA, and of course, you get a certificate of good conduct from DCI. Those are requisite procedures, and I think we should allow those processes to progress. And ultimately, IEBC has the final prerogative to clear a candidate to contest for elections. So these are the business of trying to ruin people's careers by creating stories, what we call allegations, which are not proven. That can guide citizens. That cannot guide a competent voter. And if there are such allegations and they are before court, a decision shall eventually be rendered. If it is rendered when an individual is already in office, then it is very clear that individual will lose that particular office. Of integrity, it is there. And so at this point, it is not right to try and dig holes around individuals. There are also what we call fundamental human rights of individuals.
Thank you.
And that must be provided. Mm-hmm. And I think let us play this politics in a decent manner. If you are digging issues around an individual and you are trying to spread it to look like Kenya Kwanza is promoting corruption, I think you are trying to send the wrong message. And that is already dead on arrival. It is propaganda. Most of us personally don't believe in corruption whatsoever.
But
I want proof.
Perception is very, very key. And,
let us not deal with perception and emotions.
Who's creating the perception?
Just a moment, because
that is why we have a responsibility, you and I and all of us, to empirically drive our politics and crystallize issues and make Kenyans understand. We are lucky to have a population and a country and citizens that are politically active, they are sensitive, they are able to make their own analysis. And I think Dibal have said from this point on, unless otherwise, a court of law, you've talked of Songa and others who have been impeached, and they've been denied clearance by IEBC. IEBC is a constitutional body created through our constitution to do its job. It has done it, and that we cannot question. And if certain individuals are not satisfied, they'll move to court. Yeah. But as for the presidential candidates of UDA and Azimio and their deputies, of course, issues can be raised, but we cannot engage in mob justice and lynching of individuals, basically because of allegations. I don't think that is how we are going to do our politics.
But
so,
okay.
and that is why I'm pleading. If we want to discuss corruption, let us discuss it in a very effective and clear and honest manner. And I've asked, is there a political party in this country that is running for election that is promoting corruption? For me, I am not aware. I'm a member of UDA, and I've never sat in a forum where we have discussed promotion of corruption. And I know the bottom of it. Yes, that's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, because
but
if I say
what will you say? So, just a moment. Allow me to bat in.
Let us not act cheap in our arguments.
I agree. I agree.
In Vision 2030, Vision 2030 of this country, we want to promote issue-based politics. And I think in the next phase, we should be discussing now about manifestos, what each party has for the people.
Thank you. So, Sion, let me just ask you a very pointed question. Isn't it very consternating to you that when we talk about academic credentials, most of the legislators who have, questionable academic credentials are falling within UDA? Just a moment, let me just finish. Right now we have Senator Malala, who's really struggling also to, qualify his credentials and his degree from SIU, right? We have Mithika Linturi. It has been flagged that, yes, his degree is questionable. We have Sudi. We have the principal, the former principal of Highway Secondary School, saying no, he has never been admitted, in a high school. So there is no record at all about his academic credentials in high school. The list really goes on and on. When we talk about corruption, yes, we have Rigathi, who this is alleged, as you say. But this is all about murder case. We have a what's her name? It's eluding me as well. What's her name? The murder case that is still pending in court. Aisha Jumwa. Yeah, and we have Kenya Governor Anwar Goro that has also been flagged as well. Don't you think, if you say that this perception is being politicized, you might not be maybe giving a very fair assessment to this? How then would you explain all these academic credentials, issues of corruption that is leaning to our side more than the other end? Yeah.
No, I think that's a critical question you are putting across.
Critical indeed.
And I would say at this point, we've got institutions to deal with that, and they must deal with it. And that is why our judiciary, which is independent and which has been threatened also by the political systems, particularly Jubilee, should be empowered. It should be resourced. It should be financed to deal with these matters. There's an office of Director of Public Prosecution. And for me, as a diligent, hardworking teacher of good standing in this country, I don't believe in individuals falsifying documents so that they can qualify for offices. Such individuals should be prosecuted and brought to books. And who is to do it? It is not us in this show. It is not the political parties. It is our judicial system and our criminal justice system. What have we done to these institutions? We've stifled them.
No.
And we've
just a moment.
Them
I just asked.
And I'm saying very clearly, the names of individuals.
I asked you if you're consternated by that fact yourself, aren't you? I asked you just a very simple question, not really to go, riding on the institutions.
No, I'm not riding,
right,
but I'm stating what I believe in. I'm stating a fact. If I'm told, Dibal, you have a fake academic papers here, then the next point should be the DPP to prosecute you. Then the next point, the next level will be a verdict through the court. Yes, that indeed you've got false documents and therefore you're guilty. And I want to state very clearly,
DCI has also called for the exhumation of a body that was the maid to Mithika Linturi, who died at a very, mysterious circumstances. And so this body is being exhumed as well. So you think this is not doing a job? No, I'm just giving you points. I'm just giving you facts as well.
I think, Dibal, this show is not a trial show to discuss very grave, serious matters of that nature. I'm not competent to do that. I'm not the DPP. I'm not the police. I'm an ordinary citizen discussing political issues. And for me,
which is a given. I'm just saying, because when you're saying they are not really working, that is not entirely true. No, I'm just trying to prove the point. When you say they're not working, that is not entirely true.
Yes, they're not working because they've not been facilitated to do their work effectively. It must be facilitated so that we stop discussing and speculating.
But who told you they're not facilitated?
All cases effectively prosecuted and justice delivered. The truth is, we know Justice Maraga, in his exit report,
thank you,
as the president of the Supreme Court of this country, made it very clear that the judiciary has been stifled and it has not been given sufficient
to be taken to court. If allegations of corruption are raised against the cabinet minister, you are even, first of all, you are barred from accessing State House because he thinks you are going to influence his decision. And you are asked to step aside. So what we are saying here, and what message are you sending to Kenyans as you pass this decision, Dibal? And number two, Dibal, we should draw a distinction between what is in Article 75, Sub-Article 3 and Article 9. You know, Article 75, Sub-Article 3, it says if you have been found through a legal process to have abused office or removed from office for abusing your office, then you are barred from running. And I think that's what is facing Waititi, what is facing Sonko, and that's what is facing the former speaker of Kiambu. And I'm happy that the courts have come out to pronounce themselves, and they say if you have been impeached from office, we cannot clear you to seek an elective post. I think the areas that really leave it to the
We want to discuss ideas. We want to discuss what's the manifesto of the various parties. What are the parties telling the people that they should do?
Indeed.
Let us make sure that our deliberations here are factual and not speculative. That we are not coming here to mudsling individuals or run a parallel trial of something that's already before the court. When we come to court here, when we come to the TV show, I can discuss an ongoing case. I just don't discuss the merits and demerits, I do not end up defaming or being slanderous of any individual. But I can say the matter before the court is the following. The charges before the person is this. The evidence so far that has been produced before the court is this, and the applicable law is this. That I'm allowed to discuss. But when we break down to say, hasn't so-and-so, that their certificates are questionable, and therefore you cast certain aspersions on the party in a blanket manner is not correct. What we can say for a fact is we have a system. When you want to be able to take your certificates to the IEBC, you get your documentation confirmed by the Commission of Higher Education.
Thank you.
We have the National examinations body that does that. We have a self-declaration form that we put. So let us discuss what does the law require us to do.
Indeed.
But the moment we start hand-picking, then this show becomes a tabloid, which I do not want to be part of.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said.
Yeah,
let's hear from...
I think our political evolution in this country is on the right trajectory. And we are at a point where we must learn to practice politics of high standard hygiene, politics of issues. And in this coming election, Kenyans are seeking for electoral justice. That must be given to them. Kenyans are seeking for economic justice, and we expect to see much of that in the manifestos of the various political parties, which the citizens will be able to adjudicate. Kenyans are seeking for social justice, and I would want to believe that the big agenda that will form center stage in the manifestos of political parties is our education system and the future of the competency-based curriculum and how we are going to move this country forward.
Thank you.
So we should be prepared for a greater exciting moment.
Thank you.
But I don't think in this show we'll be prepared to engage in mob justice and degenerate our politics into mudslinging and damaging individuals and ruining reputation and careers of people.
Thank you very much for your comments today. We really do appreciate. Okongo Mogeni, of course, also challenge has been put to you by Gladys Boschole on the mudslinging as well. If you have the charges, we can discuss it. We don't want to open that Pandora's box. Thank you very much, but we will gravitate the discussion now to CBC, as it were. I want to thank you, Gladys Boschole, also Wilson Susion, or Okongo Mogeni as well, for that very massive, cogent discussion we've had as well. Of course, the comments that made here remain personally of our panelists. It's not really, of course, the starting point of Standard Group, as it were, at the end of the day. Thank you very much for your valued company. Up next, we have, of course, Sports Chat coming up. All matters sporty. Don't go away.